Hello everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to sew a blind hem by hand. I have a turned up hem here. This is serged. The raw edge is serged. It's not connected to the shirt. I have matching thread, although not too matching because I wanted you to be able to see what hopefully see what I'm doing. And you're going to knot the end of your thread. And as you can see, I am left-handed, so normally I would sew from the left to the right, moving forward, but when you backstitch, you're going to sew backwards, so I'm going to sew from the right to the left. So if you're right-handed, you will be sewing from left to right. And I'm going to start by sticking my needle just under the hem that's folded up. I'm not catching the shirt. I want to just start in the corner and hide that knot under there, under that fold. And from here, I'm going to hold my thread at an upwards angle so I can see where I want my stitch to go. And I'm just going to barely catch a couple threads from the face of the garment. I'm not catching the folded up hem there, just the actual garment. And then I'm going to hold my thread diagonally down and catch just the folded up hem. You can get more than a couple threads here because that's not going to show through. So notice that my needle is pointing forwards, but as I add stitches, I'm moving backwards. And again, just so I can tell where I want my stitch to go, I hold my thread down in place diagonally, and where that crosses right under my serging is where I like to do it. You can do a narrower zigzag. It all depends on how much wear this garment's going to be, how secure you want it to be. So each time I add a new stitch, I'm holding my thread at the diagonal so that I can see what I'm doing. See, I pull it up, and again, whenever you do those upper stitches, you're only catching a couple threads from the face of the garment. And this garment is open in the back, so I'm starting from a folded edge there, but most of the time you will be doing this on a closed garment, and you would start, I like to start on the side seam, but for this garment we started at the open edge. Now this fabric in particular is a very tight weave, so it's a little more difficult to catch a couple of those stitches. If your thread matches pretty well, don't stress, you know, if you catch more than 3 stitches, that's three threads, that's totally fine. It still won't show. And you are going to do this all the way around your hem. It goes pretty fast once you get going and get the hang of it. You want to make sure that your zigzags are roughly the same distance apart for consistency's sake. And anytime you get to a seam like this, I like to just secure it a little bit extra by stitching through my seam allowance, through my hem, not through the face of the garment, but through the seam allowance and the folded up hem a couple times, and then knotting it. And you're going to do that once you get to the end as well. That's why whenever I'm working on a closed garment, I like to start at a seam so I can get that extra sturdy beginning and end, and then anytime you cross a seam, you want to do this and lock it into place as well. So you can see my little zigzags here. Everything is looking pretty good. And here is a closer look of what that blind hem looks like. And from the front, you can't see it at all. Thanks so much for joining me. Happy sewing!